Well, hey there, everybody. Rhonda Boyle here with Anas Aldahoud, the Talent Maximizer. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Rhonda.
Good. Welcome to part one of our 5-part series on the Clifton Strengths Domains of Leadership. Anas, let's talk about what exactly those are. I know that there are 4 domains, so fill us in on what they are and why they're important in this strengths movement.
Very good, Rhonda. So the 4 domains are strategic thinking, influencing, relationship, and execution. So as you can tell from the name, so strategic, these are people who bring ideas. They love to plan. They see the vision. They see the future. They love to give visions and missions for organizations. High executors, these are the hard workers. These are the people, they spend a lot of hours in the office doing actually the work and getting the work done. Relationship, these are the people that bring people together, are the glue. The first question that comes to their mind is who can help, who can support, who should we bring along? And influencers, these are the people that they sell ideas. Imagine if a manager came up with an idea and wants to pass it to his team, the influencer is the best person. Like, he gets the idea from someone and knows how to communicate it. He thinks how to sell a product. Are we sitting in front of the right people that should be listening to us? I think they are really good in explaining things. Why are domains important? And I just want to be clear. I love the fact that Gallup, even this is how the report is structured. They start with strengths. So I'm here still recommending start with the individual strength. I don't like putting people in like 4 categories. Like, there's so many ways that we can explain people, and it shouldn't be said in 4 categories. So again, start with strength, find your combination. The top 5 together makes a difference in your personality. So definitely start with that. But I think domains are important to understand more about the person. Just a quick example. Let's say someone has achiever in his top 5, but is all surrounded by strategic thinking domain. He actually might be more of a strategic thinking, not an achiever. Okay, although that achiever is still one of his top 5, and I think still domains is very important to understand.
Yeah, it really can help you identify exactly a person's first response, actually, when they're in their performance. It's sort of like their automatic go-to, isn't it?
Yes, and actually think about it. As a coach, even though that you will not start this with the person you are coaching, if you know the domain of the person, so he will sit with you, I achieved things in my life and I get so many things done in my life, but his strongest domain is, for example, relationship, and his execution is very low. So you understand as a coach that what kind of awareness that person is having. So I think it's really important as a coach to understand the 4 domains and know them even before you start the coaching sessions.
Yes, I think that's true. Now, let's talk about what we're going to talk about in the rest of our series, because we're going to go into these 4 domains more deeply. Let's cover some of the things that we'll be discussing.
So the first thing we're gonna include is how your brain works. You need to understand that for each person, there is an environment, there is a place where you function the best. So understanding your domain, and we're going to talk this about each domain, like this domain, his brain functions this way. Your domain starts with people. Your domain starts with an action. So this is very important to understand. You need to understand also, this is how you make sense of the world. So people see the world as something that we need to achieve. He sees the world that it's a place to meet new people and influence. He sees the world by, sometimes we need to sit alone and think about what we're going to do. So it's very important. One more thing we're going to cover as well, how you lead. So for example, if execution is your highest domain, that means you lead with example. People need to see you do. Okay, the more you're going to talk to them and convince them, I don't think this is the right way, but leading by example is the way to go. And again, if you're starting a project, you need to understand what is the first thing you're going to think about. Is it a plan? Is it a strategy? Or is it who should help? Or is it by executing? So we're going to cover this also in our the videos. One more thing that I think is very important and not a lot of people who've covered, we will explain some of the strengths. Like, for example, deliberative. So deliberative for you, if it's surrounded by strategic thinkings, that means you are going to think about strategy to stop the harm. If deliberative is high for you and is surrounded by execution, once you see the problem right away, you're going to go fix it yourself, or the risk, you're going to go fix it yourself. If it's surrounded by relationship, for example, you're always going to think of who is the first person who's going to be harmed by this. Again, we're gonna cover this part.
Yeah, that's great. Now, we're also going to talk about the value you bring if you're, whichever of these domains you're dominant in, and what your needs are, because each of these domains or quadrants has deep needs that they're just trying to get met. There's also a downside, isn't there? And we need to figure out how to manage that and to manage the people that we're around who are in a different domain than we are. So their thinking is completely different than ours. And that's important too. And what else?
And I think all of these parts are really important, Rhonda. Again, as a manager, you will get the luxury understanding that the influencer, for example, needs freedom. The executor needs deadlines. So we're going to give you all these steps and tell you how to manage those different domains. And the last thing, what is your part in a team? You need to understand that because of that strength, you do play a specific role in a team. And the more you understand it and try to keep yourself away from the other parts, the better it's for you and for the team.
Yeah, great information. So with that, we'll be back in a little while with part 2 of our 5-part series on the Clifton Strengths Domains of Leadership. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us.